fantastic. Thank you so much. Great. Okay. So we're very, very pleased tonight. We have Prabhat is Global CTO at GoldenEye Incorporated, which is an MSFT, AOSG, and solution provider. He can tell you more about what those acronyms are. He has over 25 years of experience architecting secure enterprise environments across Azure, Microsoft 365, and hybrid infrastructures. He has worked for all the big IT giants, where he has led global teams. He helps design solutions for private messaging clouds, mergers, collaborations between different messaging software, and other migration and deployment projects for Office 365, Azure, AWS, Exchange, SQL, and more. So there's more about him on our website, he can tell you. But we're really pleased that he's going to share his knowledge with us about Zero Trust. And let's give him a big warm welcome.
We're very late. I get it. You're going to bail out fast. But I can promise that it will be worth listening to me. So first slide, I put it this way, that there are two pictures. First is a picture from last event, which I was attending from the main transit districts. So they had shared this slide, cybersecurity attack on different rides, MTA, Metro, and other. And then this is my morning's screenshot when my ID got blocked. So this is Zero Trust. Well, even if I'm global CTO, there's no escape because I'm global CTO or I'm the management of the company. So my ID got blocked. I definitely had to get it unlocked. So this is more about me. I can see here. I've been over 25 years in IT, currently working as global CTO. I've been Microsoft MVP. I'm a Microsoft certified cybersecurity expert. I've closely worked with FBI as well. I'm an honored listee for Marcus Who's Who, and I'm also a CyberAB registered practitioner. So I think I hit many spots in 25 years, and I've been going well. I'm one donor for O+ blood group, so if anyone needs that, feel free to reach out as well. Happy to address. Quickly jumping on the agenda. I'm keeping it simple, 5 topics, whereas I think last 2 will be very fast moving. Identifying wrongdoings, what we are doing wrong or what we may want to learn from our practices. Then Zero Trust verticals, which I think we should focus on protecting. Then Microsoft Focus Zero Trust framework. I think that's the best available framework which could get adopted. But obviously, there could be some other mix of it. I'm not biased, but that's my experience with Microsoft. Then my recommendation on compliance softwares, and quickly take a slight look on Microsoft Compliance Manager. So identifying wrongdoing. So technically, we do something wrong, we learn something wrong, we make it a practice. I want to point out that let's see what are we regularly doing and find out if those are the right practices from the cybersecurity point of view. It's right practice for your comfort because you feel this way is the right way. So talking about secure work desk. Raise a hand if you have work desk like this, with a window open, or you have work desk like this. Okay. A couple of hands at least, or a couple of hands. A couple of people who were okay to raise their hands. This is very nice window open, nice view. This person will get the fresh air, but from a cybersecurity point of view, these are risky working desks because someone can walk behind you, take the pictures, whatever you are doing, you're working or you are surfing, anything can be on their pictures or someone else can see from back, and you won't want to realize And this is somewhere we see a lot of common working workstations, which are parted in four-way. So someone is walking behind can see what they're working on. Oh, okay, that's a password. So obviously, password is not the first thing, but a lot of things you type or work on could be non-shareable. So this is first thing, as per the cybersecurity compliance or standards, you should fix like this, where you can be sitting and there's a wall behind you, no one else walking. There's no prospect that there could be a camera or someone coming behind, taking pictures and run of it. Right? Jumping on to the next point is the third-party portals. How many third-party portals you use in a company? Not just one, like I want to say one base is a Microsoft, or if you're a Google shop, then one is a Google. Out of that one basic, how many third-party portals you guys go out? Or who goes out? Can I see some hands? Yeah. So yeah, that's risky. I mean, how much you have done single sign-on with those, or non-single sign-on with those? How much data you are sharing with those third parties? That's my concern. How many places your employees' data has been replicated? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and third-party applications. Single sign-on, which we have been listening all this while. That, oh, why don't we implement single sign-on? It's remarkable. It's good. Who says that? CIO or CISO? That matters. Okay. Because CIO's job is to look for ease of all users. How can we give more comfort? How can we make the life easy for all the users who have to go to 10 different locations and log in there and make it easy? So CIO would say, yeah, configure single sign-on. I like it, I support it. But at the same time, we have to think where all the applications has to go to single sign-on, or some applications you want to keep it separate because you want additional security, it has data, and you really need to share your employees' data to every portal where you have, where you need to have single sign-on. That's what my point there. Now, DNS proxy like Cloudflare. Who are using Cloudflare? So you might have heard about the outage. It was yesterday. It's still there or not? I'm not sure. But at least from my thought point of view, you have given your domain to Cloudflare. Anything related to the domain, the queries are going to the Cloudflare. Now, Cloudflare has stolen your domain. If they are hacked, you are hacked. If they are, because think of it, your domain is hacked. Now, domain is not working if Cloudflare is down. That's one way to see as a bad thing. How you see it, it's up to you. I see it as a bad thing to give my control to a third party if I cannot do anything if they have lockup. So then next thing is, again, I was talking about CIO and CISO. They're two different roles. So one will say, let's do the ease of work, everything single sign-on, easy password, easy flow, let's get the comfort, let the work done. But that's where the CISO comes in and say, I want to implement zero trust. It may be looking hard, but that will keep our things secure and we will be able to move faster. So they have to collaborate, but that's where I think there has to be a understanding that it is not going to be ease of work if you are implementing zero trust. There will be a lot of cache reforms maybe. There will be MFA requirements. There will be encrypted emails. There will be data loss prevention policies, which will be preventing some data going out, and some questions may come back and say, hey, my email got blocked. What are you doing? And I'm CTO. So, or I am CMO, or I'm financial officer. So that's where you have to stay strong with CISO, saying, no, we are implementing zero trust. It has to be this way. It is by blocking. And if you want exception, here's the exception list. Get into that. Now, a few more points of concern which you have seen or observed: regular data backup. So raise your hands if you are using cloud backup today. Okay. Do you have the access to the raw data? Like you're taking backup, but if needed, you can move it to somewhere else. That would be my next question. And you have to think through how many times a year you restore your backup. Okay, I have a backup, but on a day when you need to restore because you had a cyber attack, or you lost somewhere, some user lost or something locked out, we have the backup to restore. That is another concern or to think about. Then is your backup encrypted? Backup is in the same office or in the remote office or both locations. Concern to think about. That's part of your BCP plan, the business continuity plan. That okay, same office. Yeah, but if they're in case of emergency, what happened? We have seen all the fires here in Pleasant State. My doctor's appointment was there in Pleasant State, and the office got burned up. So as far as their records were there in some other location, they were able to reschedule me to other location. That's one way to see as a backup can be useful to remote location. Now, who will have the access to your backup? Like that's important. Like which team, how many teams, how many third parties have access to that? That could be crucial. Now, next point is passwords. Handle with care, because password, right? So, raise a hand if you have a password reset policy. Everyone should have, right? But now, what is the reset policy? Policy is 8-length password, 8-character password, 10, 13, 15. What are we saying? Anyone want to say?
14.
14. That's fine, but that's important, right? That if you run that telemetry, which says that if it is 8 characters, then it can be easily breakable. If it's 13 characters, it takes so long to break, probably we will die and we will not be able to break. So that's the telemetry comes. So the important thing is we go past the telemetry and have that length of the password. Also, it is important that we think about what is right and appropriate for our password reset. Like it is very hard for me, at least I have, I think, hundreds of passwords in different locations as a part of a service company. So, but then overall, we have to think about similar situations for the users, how many passwords they will be managing, how many passwords they have to remember and reset, how fast you want them to reset. So maybe never is a good thing, but not always. But maybe you want to give a longer time, in my view. But think about what is appropriate for your users or your choices. Thinking that you don't want them to reset again and again and again and again, but sometimes, of course. Also consider if you don't have a self-service password reset portal, you should have it. That is allowing users to have their own password reset rather than calling the help desk to reset the password. If help desk is resetting their password, help desk knows their password. They got a second copy of the password. Obviously, you can set the checkbox to reset after login again, so they can do it again. Now, do you offer password repositories to third-party software? That's another point to think about. So this is my question. I wanted the audience to react to that. So give me your hand if you have a online software which is in browse and you can there's some software, I don't want to take one name, but if you have any password software which is you could log in, save the password, and log out, and you want to put them out, put them in your mouth like this. What? So I would say if you can be engaging, if you don't like, that's fine. Give your hand if you have a browser-based password saving like Google or Microsoft or even how you're sitting. At least I got one hand in the head. But so it's important that because if your browser is stolen, you lost the password. If the third party online where you're saving the passwords, if they got a hack, your all passwords can be stolen. Right? And if you have offline database, that could be something saving you from all that third party hacks, unless your computer got hacked and you OneDrive is hacked or something. Sasha, you have a question for me?
Yeah, I was just going to say, for a lot of the passwords that people save in the browser, a lot of times you need MFA, you need authenticators, so the password in the browser really doesn't get you anywhere.
Yeah, it does, but it's still like, it's not the safest way to put it in the application. That's the point. So it is possible that you may, losing your password may give you a trend to the hackers. Now that things are becoming smart on the other side also, right? The dark web is also becoming smarter and smarter. So you have to be careful. The point is that don't lose the password, don't leave a trend. When you reset, for example, when you reset the password and the question comes, or you choose those 3 recovery questions, how many of you choose the right answer? Like, what is my date of birth? Or what is my place of birth? Or place of meeting my fiance? You know, that is up to you. You want to write it right or you want to write it wrong. You want to write something which you only know. If my friend or my community knows I got married in New York, I don't want to put it there as a question, because everyone knows my answer, right? So that's when you want to be careful. You want to put some other city name, or don't put a city name, some answer which you should be able to recover. That's what you want in those questions, answers. So, jumping on to the zero trust verticals. This is my main topic. I think where I want to point out, these are the pointers where you can, if you close those gaps, most likely you'll be protected and prevent any ransomware or any other cyber attacks. Right. So these verticals, which I think I'm getting the top there, is identity and access, data, endpoint, network, and others. Protection can include person, training, and physical security. In the identity side, single sign-on, which I guess, as I said, I will support that, but obviously thinking about where you need it, where you don't need it. That is reduce the logins, reduce the missing password or losing password or multiple logins, multiple help desk calls, right? And secret report for the passwords. That's what you want to right think about. When you use the passwords, you want to set the right passwords. You want to set the reset timeline correctly. Maybe you want to consider passwordless nowadays, which is very common, with multi-factor authentication. At least I have not typed my password from 6 months to log into my email ID. I use passwordless MFA, which when I log in, I get a multi-factor authentication on my phone. And apart from that, it also wants me to authenticate using my facial ID. So first I have to type the number, then press yes, and then face ID. That level is going to be most secure. Whereas password, I forget, I have to reset, I go to the vacation, come back, what was my password? That's a common scenario. After Thanksgiving, after Christmas, you will see that often if you are still using passwords. But in the case of passwordless, there will be less password resets. Conditional access is becoming very common and useful, where you can set a condition if your device is not compliant, then do not allow. Or you can block the country. I was talking to there's someone there. He has left, but he's from credit union. So obviously, credit union will block you. If you are within US, you can log in. If you're out of US, you cannot log in. That's kind of a scenario it's going to set up as a compliance policies. Then talking about privilege identity management, which is a common term in M65, Microsoft space. But In other spaces which you are coming back, there's a privilege access management. We have been watching CyberArk or Beyond Trust softwares giving the privilege access management. So anytime you want to log into the privilege administrator logins, you have a separate server where you enable your privilege access and then you log in. And it's a point in time access, and once you're logged out, your access is gone. And so the point is the administrator access is not living always. It is as and when needed. That's what we're doing. Then privileged access workstation is becoming very common now in the cloud world, because you don't want the cloud access to be given from every laptop to the administrator logins. So you deploy the privileged access workstation to protect your admin logins as well. And risky users and risky login configuration will automatically block your user's access. That's what happened with me today morning. The first screenshot I shared, that was the risky user, risky login. It identified and automatically blocked me. And then I had to call my system admin team to unlock me. Role-based access is very important, that you don't want admin or global admin all the time to log in with that kind of a privilege to your servers or administrator logins. You log in with what you need to do. So if you're talking about messaging, only log in as the Exchange administrator, or if you are a SharePoint administrator, log in as a SharePoint administrator, or Teams administrator, log in as a Teams administrator. Maybe you are handling all three roles, but you don't have to log in and do the work in all three technologies. So just log in as one, which you are going to work on. That's a role-based access. So what point here is, if your ID is compromised and you have Exchange admin access, then only Exchange portion is impacted with your loss of identity at that point of time. Then reduce your admin access. That's a point that keep your admin ID separate versus your regular email ID, and obviously that will reduce the number of log entries. Thinking for the future, the log database is growing as well, right? And many number of times due to the admin login, that number of times the security database updates as well. So reduce that as well. Then I'm talking about as a enterprise admin and as a global admin, reduce the count to 1 or 2 or 3. 2 is a good, that if that's possible, but if not, then try to reduce it as number as possible. Then we want to talk about the endpoint protection. That's where your device, your phones, your tablets comes in, that or other locations could be, other devices could be kiosk or something. So it's very important we adopt a disk-based encryption. If your disk is already encrypted, it cannot be re-encrypted. So disk will never be encrypted by any ransomware or cyber attack. Then databases should be encrypted, so that means files should be encrypted as well. Antivirus and anti-malware should be deployed in every device. Then endpoint detection response should be configured with a SOC team to watch and respond accordingly, or if there's an automated way to respond as well, could be configured. Then URL protection, important. We all receive the emails. First thing nowadays come as a bad URL, and we always like to click on everything which we receive because we want to know what is it. Other day we got an email saying, this is the CMMC contract, it could just log in and sign, and we recorded as a attempt to, there was a bad URL. Well, not exactly the bad URL, that was a DocuSign URL, and when you click on that, that opens the DocuSign, but inside that, that's a bad URL. If you click on that bad URL, then you likely have a chance that it will download something, but that was not a direct URL. So URL protection will protect that from going to the bad link, which is considered spam and giving you a bad file. Similarly, block the attachment types that could be blocked or you don't want to receive, or you think it could be spam or viruses. Then mobile device protection, so every device should be managed through a mobile device protection, mobile device management software that will allow us to block or format the device from the remote in case of the device loss, or you can lock out the device so no one can log in as well. USB storage blocking, so USB is very common. I see a question from the customer, hey, we want to use the USB because we have the presentation there, and in many places we go, we don't get internet. So what do we do? So we said, okay, there has to be a different way to use it. Maybe you keep a workstation, which is the common workstation where you can bring in USB and you can just take out data from there, but not from every user's devices. External device blocking, obviously any external device coming into your network, keep the separate network. That was the point for external device blocking. Then data protection, right management based encryption you can implement to protect your data. Double key encryption is another form of encryption which does not allow anyone else to access except you. If you lose the key, then the most likely chance is that you will not be able to open the document. That's double encryption, very common for patents or that's such documents which you have discovered. Permission-based data protection, internal, external access, guest access, data loss prevention, and then auto scanning and quarantining the attachments as well as keeping a copy of your data to another location could be useful. I want to give a pause here. I want to check if anyone has any question, or if I can keep going. Thank you guys are following. It's good. Hi. Network protection, it's a very vast network protection. I think this is the first point, it tells everything, right? Private links. Do not put anything in the public and you're safe. And you're safest. Do not use internet. You're good. You will never be attacked. But I use internet, right? So, but now things are changing. Now we are getting the options to configure private links. So, for most of the customers, I think we have configured the private links so they do not access anything from the internet directly. Everything is under the VPN or Express route. And even when we configure the Azure virtual desktops, also we configure them to use the VPN, not directly from internet. So there's no open points or leaving for cyber attack. That's a clear message. The more public endpoints leaving in the network, that means you're leaving the cyber attackers or attackers to attack to your network. So that's the simplest thing. If you are able to get a success with the private links and Express route, that's the best thing to adopt. If not, obviously you have choices to make that where you can have the encryption, encrypted network communication, encrypted connection handshakes. That means the VPNs should be encrypted as well. Then firewall-based prevention and protection. Again, both is important, prevent and protect. Not only think of protecting, but reject the connection itself, right? If you think there's no email going to come from UK or Europe or any other country outside US to your office, then block those countries. Why you need to open to accept, right? Then again, blocking, most of the firewalls allow us to block the countries, block the IPs, and most of the email gateways allow us to block the domains, block the IPs as well for the email servers and then email IDs. And not only those, that we also see a lot of phone-based scams, or very minor maybe, but you get it. So it's very common in the private industry, I guess, that I'm your CEO and I'm at a conference. Could you go and buy some gift card for me and send me over the SMS? An employee who's a level 1, level 2 engineer, what will that employee think? Oh my God, it's my CEO who started me. Why don't I do that? And I'll maybe earn more respect or more credits for my promotion or my appraisal, right? and turns out that that wasn't the CEO. You were disarmed. So that's one of the things which we have observed a lot, and obviously you want to have the ability to keep a blocked phone numbers as well in that case. Then email security, we are talking about DNS records, and then creating the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC records, and not allowing the relay, the internal relay to send anything. That's a very common thing which happens in organization, apart from the printers or scanner. I think that we have seen a lot of. So I'm part of a major acquisition right now, and I can see that when they are moving the email mailboxes to one Microsoft tenant to another tenant, those emails which are coming as an internal relay, they are getting marked as spam or getting rejected because they don't have any DNS records, because internal relay was configured that there was no DNS record created. So I think that's why we have to be careful with that. Configure right SPF record. Secure SPF record is important that you mark it. These are the only senders. There are no other senders going to send the email. And obviously DKIM and DMARC will be covering that. Secure DNS is important. Don't just leave DNS open and not secure that. Also, I would say no DNS proxy. That is going to be risky as well because you're proxying and proxy is stolen, you're lost. Then SSL and table-based communication, extended detection response. Also, the SIEM solution could be useful as well. These are part of a lot of compliance adoptions as well. So when I was talking, and I was initially talking about it, and next slide I'm going to talk about that as well, that maybe in your organization it's easy to start with a compliance model. If you're following HIPAA, if you're following SOC, if you're following NIST, if you're following CMMC, any of the compliance could be a starting point. Adopt that, and that will push every controls, which I'm talking about. Most of them will be there. Also, I'm suggesting everyone to, if in the cybersecurity industry, everyone should sign up with a daily alert from CISA, which always tell that which device or which software got the vulnerability open, and you want to fix that ASAP. The second point is very common. You think, what is it doing in the cybersecurity or zero trust? Because this is very important. We understand the human being, human character, who we are, right? So it's not only important that I'm healthy from my physique, but it is important that I'm healthy from my mind and I'm healthy from my family side. So if you're coming happy and healthy in the office, you're in the right mind that you will take your time and judge every pop-up which comes in front of you. Rather than if you are not healthy from your mind or family, you may be looking healthy from the physique, but you're not really healthy from the mind and the family, then you might like to just jump into everything which comes up and you want to say yes, 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 yes. And that's where you lose things. That's very important. So if you are in a position where you have multiple employees under you, please take care of them. This is very important. This is part of your cybersecurity practice too. Because if your employees are happy, healthy, then your cybersecurity is going in a better direction. Well, again, that's not my topic, so I'm going to move on. But that's an important thing. So IT security governance, like I was talking to someone recently, I think John, I was saying, we were discussing that you implemented cybersecurity. That part is not done because keep going. It's not going to be done once you implement it, you're done. The next thing is coming every day, right? We're talking about AI nowadays. Everyone is using AI, ChatGPT, Copilot, right? So that's helping you in writing things better, but also what else it can explore to when you're going to the bigger zone. Maybe you want to implement it in a right way, or you want to protect yourself from AI and not losing your business or not losing your content. Then we talk about physical security. Also, the physical security is important, right? We want to see whenever you enter anywhere or in your office, you know how many doors we have, how many doors we have, how many locks we have. or it should be double locked. It should be an alerted that when you are not in the office, it should give an alert. And many compliance requirements say that you should have a door lock with locks for every employee has a badge to come in. And if there's a visitor coming, the visitor should be escorted to the destination. And then when the visitor is leaving, there also needs to be escorted. Also maintain a visitor log so that we will know when the visitor came in and left. So that's not only for recording purpose, also for emergency purposes. Think of it if you are in an office and there are 10 visitors who have walked in at 10 a.m. and 11 a.m. you have an emergency to run out, then you also want to see how many visitors are still in the office, right? That matters in emergency situations. Obviously, your employee should be trusting you. If your employee is not trusting you and not working well with them, I think it's better to get rid of them because they are a risk for cybersecurity immediately. That has to be yes and no. It's a black and white thing. You work with us, you trust us, you're good with us, all good. If you're not working with us, you're not trusting us, then you're vulnerable. So be careful with that, and also keep the employees' emergency contact. It's in case. Great. Again, take regular backup. Use OneDrive or SharePoint. So Microsoft has done a few good things, which is not very commonly talked about. Is Microsoft OneDrive and SharePoint are ransomware protected. So Microsoft has in the back end has added all the encryptions required. So nothing can be impacted if you are on the OneDrive or if you have your data on OneDrive and SharePoint, for sure. Don't open any unexpected link, that's part of the training. So your end users should have the training for don't open any unexpected link and unexpected attachments. Don't respond to any unexpected texts or calls. And then the end user cybersecurity training and campaigns should be run in every organization. Now, jumping to Microsoft model, Microsoft Trust Framework, very quickly. I'm trying to finish very fast. Please feel free if you have a question or maybe we have to go take a restroom break or anything. Microsoft Cloud, very important that we know Microsoft has a commercial cloud, but Microsoft also has the government cloud, secret cloud, and top secret cloud. They are working in that industry. They are focusing on security as well. So that's one thing. Now, when I'm talking about Microsoft security, Zero Trust Safe Framework, I wanted to cater that Microsoft, within Microsoft Cloud or Microsoft technologies, you can safeguard, you can implement full zero trust model where you are protected with every possible hit. So you implement Microsoft 365 Cloud, you implement Microsoft Defender, implement Microsoft Intune, device management, implement mobile threat defense. So your mobiles are also safe when you're traveling. When you're connecting to unknown Wi-Fi, they are also identified that okay, is this safe Wi-Fi or not safe Wi-Fi. Also that also enables every traffic which is going out and in can be blocked as well. Like Instagram is blocked in my office. It blocks that. Oh, Instagram email came and I click on it, but blocked. You can see that. Windows Hello for second level of authentication on your Windows device. Payment PAW, we can talk more about it, but we're discussing that. Implement payment PAW, then implement role-based access controls, implement PAW privilege identity management and privilege access workstation. I remember the guys talked about it, but the abbreviations are not good, so within the slides, they are very hard to fill in things. So there's some abbreviations, excuse me for that. Microsoft Purview for encryption and DLP, then conditional access we talked about. We also talked about the Azure Gov side of it, Azure Cloud as well. It could be used. Subcontractor enclave. So important thing is if you are an organization, an county, or so make a space for subcontractor rather than giving them out something. Say, okay, you can be part of our organization as long as your contract is going to live. You can access these resources. That way, your compliance is being followed by those subcontractors. Could be a little bit expensive, but more relaxed, more comfortable for you because you have all security in your control, all data in your control, not in the third-party contractor control. Microsoft SIEM solution, Sentinel, so that gives you the alerts and timely alerts, and maybe so that you can fix the things. Some options for contractors or short-term work, it could be virtual desktop rather than deploying the full VMware or Citrix desktop, virtual desktop. Maybe you consider Azure virtual desktop because that way all data stays in Azure virtual desktop, which is in your Microsoft cloud. It's not going out of that. So that's reducing your infrastructure as well with this framework. And then talking about backup, Microsoft backup is not that great yet, so we always look or recommend that Veeam backup could be another venue which you can deploy, and again, multiple copies where you want to keep, which is how you want to see as a disaster recovery point of view, that your backup is there and you are able to restore and it's in the right format and accessible as well. Now, full of more things, so software, policy documents, training, and access to private links as well. So what software you're using, what policy documents you're using, who implement those. So as you have spent the time learning how to get the funding for your Zero Trust in previous session with Gus, I'm trying to tell you how to utilize it and start implementing Zero Trust from tomorrow. This could be a model which you may like to adopt, but may not like to adopt. So this is my recommendation. You can choose or you can go from there. So starting from, because I'm more focused on Microsoft, I'm talking about Microsoft more, but if you feel like you can implement through the Google as well, then feel free to do that. So implement Microsoft Cloud. Microsoft has multiple flavors. If you qualified for GCC more secure cloud, you can go for that, or you can just buy the TA approved or the cloud and buy the TA approved devices. Adopt a compliance model. That's what I said first. That will bring you that what compliance you want to implement. I talked about tons of things. Maybe you don't want to consider everything because you are living in the private space. That changes everything. Then compliance training and documentation. Compliance training for every staff. But documentation can include, very important, system security plan. What is your, how have you kept the security? That is important, right? That user acceptance policies could be useful. Bring your own device policies could be useful. And those are part of the compliance, actually. So I'm talking more on the compliance side, what is useful to implement Zero Trust. That way your employees are understanding more with the employee agreements. Then cybersecurity, documentation, incident chain management, and problem management documentations and etc. There could be like 30 to 40 compliance documents which would be required to handle the compliance, but that's up to you which compliance you're following. But these are the few documents which I think most important every organization should have. And you can continue in the software, because now maybe you don't have all the softwares in the organization which could be useful for regular governance, risk, and compliance recording. You want to have a GRC software, and then also for visitor recording, check and check out. You may want to have another software for that. And then company policies, like we're talking about documentation, those are becomes company policies. So how you want to manage them in your infrastructure, how you want to distribute that would be another point to consider and software to consider. And also the identity piece, how you want to manage the identity and Microsoft licensing as well. Those could be a few things to consider as well. Now implementing cybersecurity and compliance. That rest is like steps are like what we have already talked about. And once you have all those things implemented, just see that how you see yourself as a self-assessment and the mock assessment for yourself, that where you are aligned your organization with and what gaps left, and that will be helping you to close more gaps. So who's ready to start the Zero Trust from tomorrow? All right. Quickly on the compliance software, like my recommendation, my thought was going towards that consider software, any software for not only for today, for 10 years. Any implementation for 10 years, not just the software. But any third party, if you're considering, what is the guarantee of that software is going to live for next 10 years? If it is going to be today, it's good. Tomorrow you don't know where the software company would be. They will be still alive, they will be dead, or where? The point is, if they'll not be alive and not secure, then whatever you are using them for is at risk. For example, you're moving your compliance policies there, or you're moving your compliance artifacts there as a GRC tool, then you are risking it for future. Maybe you change your security after that, but those policies can be giving a trend of your configuration. Or if they are leaked after 2 years, then your policy might still be active and might be bad characters can use it different way. That, oh, you are using a 12 character password. Now we know how many characters password, right? Then obviously software are in-house or external. That's what I just talked about. Then raw data is in your control or not. Where are they keeping the raw data? Is the software FedRAMP approved? Based on cloud or location on your security and personal data. So we're considering those few things. We had some software, I'm just flashing it moving forward. These are the IAM software which we have, and this is the policy management. All of the software which I'm going to show here, not talking in sales page, GRC software and the visitors log software, they all live in the SharePoint Online. So any customer wants it, it's deployable to their system, not taking the things away to our system. That's our focus. Now, Microsoft Compliance Manager. When you're thinking of adopting any compliance, I think this is the first stage. You want, as a CISO or cybersecurity analyst, you want to go here to Microsoft Compliance Center and add an assessment based on what compliance you are willing to adopt or deploy in your organization. This is, I'll give an example for CMMC. We are a CMMC consulting company as well. So we deploy this a lot. So, but what happens then, it's a very self-assessment of self-configuration available in the Compliance Manager, where you can go to that all the controls listed there, one by one, and they can give you the steps, how to use Microsoft solution to implement it. And then you can click on launch and it will give you the steps, so you can just follow the steps and configure that particular control. It's that easy with the help of Microsoft Purview Compliance Manager. I think a couple of slides left. So this is about my company. We are a Microsoft partner, and we are reseller for all verticals, not only the commercial, but we're also a Microsoft DoD and GCC high reseller. And I think we are the only one from Los Angeles to whole of the North California for Microsoft Gov reseller. And we have the team which is Microsoft MVPs and Microsoft certified and Cyber AV certified and CISSPs as well. We do a lot of things. We have the SOC as well. We are helping with softwares. We are helping with migrations. We are helping with documentations as well. I'm open for questions, and thank you, everyone. I left you with some questions. Go ahead. If it's tired, if it's so tiring, then I'm sorry. If it's too late, then I'm sorry.
Yes, some questions.
Go ahead.
When you have storing our passwords, like this data, Google, Chrome, or something else, what would you recommend for us? Like, I mean, we talk about passwords, save passwords somewhere else, or a program, an application.
So we are using KeePass 2. I don't know if you guys know, but look for KeePass. I think it's KEEPASS or KYPASS 2. That's a software which you deploy locally on a computer, and that creates a database which you can keep local on a laptop, or you can keep in OneDrive. Like I said, OneDrive is ransomware proof, so You will not lose it ever, but wherever you go, if you use multiple devices, it works fine because you're using same OneDrive. So I use this laptop, I use my other workstation in the office, or I use my third workstation, it doesn't matter. At that point, whenever I'm opening it, that database opens just fine. That's an offline database. There could be more, so I'm not biased with one particular company, so feel free to use. But my recommendation is off, not online, because online is, we don't know. I think we've heard about a company which was a password keeper, and they were hacked as well. So that's one of the example what I'm talking about is happening in the world. Any other questions?
The GRC app, where was that at? Was that Microsoft offering?
No, we have created a Microsoft-based, Power Apps-based GRC app.
So that's your app.
Yeah.
And then you said the Purview offers the compliance frameworks like NIST and
Yes.
and such. I use Purview for checking, doing discovery, but I didn't know that it also has a compliance part.
It has compliance manager. It gives you all controls of that particular compliance, which you follow one by one and implement it. I know it's late. Yeah, so
Yeah, no, thank you.
if you want my cards are here. But if not,
Thank you very much. Great talk. Lots of information. Can they reach out to you if they have questions?
yeah, they can reach out to me anytime. My business cards are here as well. If you want.
Are those business cards?
Yes, sir.
Wow, I haven't seen one of those in a long time. But they're here. Come and get them.